Have you ever noticed how the world seems to reset every midnight, yet we carry the same heavy baggage into the new light? We treat the calendar like a magic wand, hoping that a change in digits will somehow result in a change in character. But look at your hands. Look at your thoughts. Are they any different than they were a year ago? The truth is, most people don't need a new year. They need a new way of seeing. If you feel like you are standing in the middle of a circle, passing the same landmarks of regret and hesitation over and over, you are not alone, but you are at a crossroads. 2026 isn't just a number, it is a mirror. It is asking you a question that most are too afraid to answer. Who would you be if you stopped lying to yourself? What if starting from zero wasn't a sign of failure, but the ultimate expression of power? We often view zero as nothingness. We see it as a void. But in the eyes of the great Stoic masters, zero is the only place where the foundation is truly level. It is the point of absolute clarity. To start from zero is to strip away the should-haves, the if-onlys, and the false identities we wear to please a world that isn't even watching. Think about the cycles you've repeated, the habits that have become invisible chains, the promises made in the heat of inspiration that turn to ash by February. Why does this happen? It isn't because you are weak, it's because you are trying to build a cathedral on a swamp. You are trying to add new floors to a life that hasn't addressed its crumbling basement. Before the first sun of 2026 rises, we must learn the art of the clean slate. This isn't about motivation. Motivation is a fickle friend that leaves when the room gets cold. This is about architecture. This is about building a version of you that doesn't need to be hyped up because it is fueled by something much deeper, necessity. Do you have the courage to look at your life without the filter of your excuses? Stoicism teaches us that we suffer more in imagination than we do in reality. We fear starting over because we think we are losing time. But you aren't losing time. You are losing the weight that keeps you from moving. If you want 2026 to be the year that actually counts, you must first accept the uncomfortable honesty. Look at your distractions. Look at where your energy leaks. Every time you pick up your phone to avoid a difficult thought, you are voting for the old version of yourself. Every time you say tomorrow, you are digging the hole deeper. The first step isn't a giant leap, it's a quiet realization. It's the moment you stop waiting for a hero and realize that the person in the mirror is the only one who can sign the decree for change. Before we move into the mechanics of this transformation, ask yourself this: if your life remained exactly as it is right now for the next 10 years, would you be at peace or would you be in mourning? Let that settle in your mind, because the answer to that question is the fuel for everything that comes next. Starting from zero is not an act of desperation. It is an act of war against mediocrity. It is the decision to stop being a passenger in a life you are supposed to be driving. To start from zero, you must first understand that you are not building a new life, you are carving it. Like a sculptor with a block of marble, the beauty is already inside. You just have to chip away the parts that don't belong. The Stoics believed that a man who cannot govern himself is a slave, even if he wears a crown. To make 2026 different, we must look at the 3 pillars that hold up your daily existence: your body, your focus, and your silence. Let's begin with the body. Most people treat their physical health like a hobby, something they do when they have extra time. But your body is the only vessel you have to carry out your purpose. If your vessel is leaking, your mind will be too busy treading water to look at the stars. Discipline starts with the physical, not for vanity, but for sovereignty. Every time you choose to move when you are tired or eat for fuel instead of comfort, you are casting a vote. You are telling your brain that your will is stronger than your impulses. That is the birth of the Stoic warrior. But a strong body with a fractured mind is a tragedy. Look at where your attention goes. We live in a world that is designed to keep you distracted. Your focus is the most valuable currency you own, yet you give it away for free to strangers on a screen. Every notification is a thief. Every mindless scroll is a minute of your life you will never get back. To start from zero in 2026, you must build a fortress around your mind. You need to become comfortable with being unreachable for periods of time. Real growth happens in the deep work, in the moments where there is no background noise, no music, no validation, just you and the task at hand. Can you sit in a room alone for 30 minutes without reaching for a distraction? If the answer is no, you are not in control. You are being navigated by the algorithms of others. The Stoic method is to reduce the inputs, read less of the news and more of the timeless books, listen to fewer opinions and more to your own intuition. Clarity is not found by adding more information, it is found by removing the noise. Then there is the pillar of silence. We have a habit of talking about our plans. We tell our friends about the gym we're going to join. We tell our family about the business we're going to start. We feel a rush of dopamine just by speaking the words. Our brain thinks we've already achieved it. The Stoic knows better. Silence is a battery. When you keep your goals to yourself, the energy stays within you. It builds pressure. It becomes a force that drives you to act because you have no other outlet. Don't announce your 2026, live it. Let the results be the first time anyone hears about your progress. There is a quiet dignity in the man who works in the shadows. While everyone else is busy pretending, he is busy becoming. If you want to be part of the 1% who actually change, you must do what the 99% are afraid to do. You must embrace the boredom of consistency. Excellence is not a grand act. It is 1,000 tiny, boring decisions made correctly. As we look toward the structure of your new reality, ask yourself, are you willing to be unpopular to become elite? Are you willing to be boring today so you can be free tomorrow? The foundations are being poured. The cement is wet. Now is the time to decide what shape the structure will take. We have reached the final threshold. You have looked at the wreckage of the past and you have poured the foundation of the 3 pillars. But there is one final, heavy gate you must pass through to enter 2026 as a new man. You must learn the art of letting go. Most people fail to start from zero because they are still trying to hold on to the one old habit, one toxic relationship, one version of themselves that feels comfortable but is ultimately a dead end. You cannot reach for a new branch until you let go of the one you are currently holding. Think of your life as a ship. If you want to sail faster, you don't necessarily need a bigger engine. You need to cut the anchors. What are you carrying right now that no longer belongs to your future? Maybe it is a grudge. Maybe it is the need to be right. Maybe it is a story you tell yourself about why you aren't the type of person who succeeds. These are ghost weights. They exist only because you allow them to. In Stoic philosophy, the past is a foreign country. You don't live there anymore. You only visit it to gather data, not to settle down. As you step into this year, understand that your new self is built in the moments where nobody is watching. The world loves the reveal. It loves the before and after photos. But the real work, the work that actually changes the shape of your soul, happens at 5 a.m. on a Tuesday when it's raining and you don't feel like moving. It happens when you are tempted to react in anger, but you choose silence instead. It happens when you have every excuse to quit, but you do one more rep, one more page, one more hour. Discipline is not a cage. Discipline is the key to the cage. The person who can do what they don't want to do when they don't want to do it is the only truly free person on this planet. Everyone else is just a slave to their moods, and moods are like the weather. They change without your permission. So, how do we execute this? We stop making grand promises. We start building systems. A system is a machine that runs even when you are tired. If your goal is to be fit, your system is the gym clothes laid out the night before. If your goal is to be wealthy, your system is the automatic transfer to your savings. If your goal is peace, your system is the phone being turned off an hour before bed. Stop trying to be better. Start being structured. As the days of 2026 begin to unfold, you will feel the pull of the old self. It will whisper to you. It will tell you that one day off doesn't matter. It will tell you that you've done enough. That is the moment of truth. That is the point where the blade of your clarity must cut through the fog of your hesitation. The best year of your life is not a destination. It is a series of 24-hour windows. If you win the morning, you win the day. If you win the day, you win the week. If you win the week, you win the year. It is a simple math of the spirit. Imagine yourself 1 year from today. You are sitting in the same chair, in the same room. Will you be looking back with the pride of a man who finally stood his ground, or will you be looking forward to 2027 with the same empty hopes you've had for a decade? The clock is not your enemy. Your indecision is. Start from zero today, not with a shout, but with a quiet, firm commitment. The world does not need more people who dream of greatness. It needs people who act with character in the smallest things. 2026 is waiting, not to give you something, but to see what you will bring to it. The slate is clean. The ink is in your hand. What is the first sentence you are going to write? The silence of the beginning is where the power lives.